I'm Lori Siegel, and you're listening to Mostly Human, a tech podcast through a human lens. Okay, so it's early April 2024, and we finally have a tip. We have someone who believes that they know the identity of Mr. Deepfakes, who, as we have mentioned, I have been obsessed with trying to find this person for what he or whoever this is represents. And so now I am looking at a Zoom box with a guy named Jordy who's zooming in from the Netherlands. And it's just like this crazy moment, given all the things that y'all know.
Where did we go from you get the tip, 24 hours later, what happened in that time period?
So I remember getting this tip and being like, I gotta get this guy on the phone immediately. He says he's based in the Netherlands. And so I figured out the whole other inbox situation where I found him saying this to me and tried to get him to jump on a call. And he wouldn't do it because I think it was
2 a.m.
2 a.m. in the Netherlands. But as y'all know, that never stops me from being like, just 5 minutes. But he was like, okay, we can jump on tomorrow. And so I remember running home, right? And I called you, Nicole, and we had this conversation about it. And I'm like, this guy says he knows who it is. And we started looking at what Sedenti was. This is the alias that reached out to me on TikTok. We're like, what is Sedenti? So we went in a little rabbit hole.
Right. You kind of jumped into action and being like, how can we both talk to him tomorrow, find out what the info is. And then I went into a rabbit hole of making sure we could kind of vet who they were, if at all possible. There was a lingering thought in my mind as I was digging in, and there wasn't a lot of information about them online of could this be Mr. Deepfakes or somebody that's trying to insert themselves into the situation? So really dug into what Sedenti was and what we could find. And then also at the same time on my end, I was recording as much as I could of the Mr. Deepfakes website just in case as this investigation was getting started, it might go down. And so that 24-hour period was really investigative mode.
Right.
And then
we, of course, call you, Roxy, because it's not a good investigative story if I don't call Roxy with a crazy idea. So I think this is when we bring you in. And to set the scene, you and Tony, your husband, BFD, the production company that I worked my career with on lots of stories. So I called you up.
Yeah, I think we'd been following loosely your investigation from afar a little bit, but and extremely interested in how can we track this? How can we document this? If we can find this guy, what's that going to lead to? And I think you just sort of called with some sort of ridiculous, can you show up? Can we film tomorrow? I'm going to call this guy that I think found the guy. And I'm sure it was a rambling, nonsensical call. And I think you were trying to explain what he does, what is Sedenti, which is what?
This was the big question. This is the $1 billion question. We're what exactly is Sedenti? And we start looking into it. And they do protection for creators. So we start looking into it, and it's they're doing protection for OnlyFans creators and whatnot. And we're okay, there could be a world where maybe some of these creators have gone to Sedenti to help protect them on Mr. Deepfakes. And so we're is that a through line? Is this a legit thing?
Right. They had a website that really was that we're a combo of legal experts and stuff, and the focus was on digital protection and copyright claims. But I think that's really all we knew at that point. And it very much was, I'm curious too, your messages with Jordy, right? In that night before, you kind of the main thing was trying to be let's just get on the phone. Let's just get on the phone, right?
Yeah, I was really worried that, I've been waiting for this message. To take a step back, we have David and his team of kind of good guy hackers working on trying to track this guy. We've gone out to the internet and made a call and said, this is a really big problem. And my hope was that we get some kind of tip that while David is working with his team to try to track down the guy behind Mr. Deepfakes, that we would get some kind of tip. So it's all of a sudden we get it. And all of a sudden it seems super timely because Jordy's I'm talking to this other journalist, Sebastian, and there might be an article that comes out. I'm oh my God, are we going to miss the moment? And so, yeah, I went into and y'all know me very well. I think I went into kind of full on like, please get on the call, get on the phone. Like, who is trying to find out any information even before he would get on the call. So we're going back and forth in DMs. And that's, of course, Roxy when I call you. And I just for reference, I mean, I've called Roxy with crazy things like.
This isn't the craziest.
Yeah, like it's like, I was thinking about Roxy. Like, we've been at a table, like sitting at a table with a woman engaged to a robot. You've created an AI Lori that spoke to my ex-boyfriend. I mean, we've done some weird things together. So I don't think you were shocked when I called and said, can we have this available tomorrow in case this guy, in case this guy actually knows who Mr. Deepfakes is. And I think it's very typical that Nicole, in all of her incredible editorial like sensibilities, is like, let's make sure Lori's not walking into like Mr. Deepfakes trap.
Yeah, I mean, I think we did a good job of like, everyone had a role to play, and we made sure that we were going to go from point A to point B. Like, we're going to make sure this like was a tip worth following up on.
Yeah.
And I think you really said, like, I think this is a tip worth following up on. And so we did as much digging as we could. We got set up so that we record it, and we were ready to like meet Jordy. And I think one really interesting thing that came out of that is that it felt like in the same way that we were looking for someone like Jordy was looking for someone like us.